Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
Eagle Eye TV has done a great job.
And welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6.
We are just having a great time here in Auburn, Alabama. The party is not over yet.
Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader.
Good evening and welcome to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Allison Thomas.
And I'm Gavin Dimmitt. Tonight we have a generous amount of news from around the plains, followed up with both Eye on the Hill and national news.
Ava Bradbury has entertainment news from the box office, and to lead us out we have a business and consumer update. Thank you for joining us. More than 8 million people across all 50 states took part in No Kings protests opposing the Trump administration. In Auburn, about 700 community members joined the movement this past Friday, making their voices heard. Eagle Eye reporter Morgan Sims has the story.
3,100 No Kings protests were planned nationwide, and Auburn has become a part of that effort.
Trump's excursion is America's shame.
No Kings is a slogan and peaceful protest in the United States, mainly organized by the 50-51 movement to oppose what supporters see as too much power and control by the Trump administration. Along with the mass movement happening in 49 other states, Indivisible Auburn Opelika organized a peaceful demonstration in the heart of downtown Auburn.
Protests are a starting point for people to be like, okay, I'm putting myself out there, even if you don't hold a sign or you don't even chant, but if you show up and meet the people in your community who are like-minded and who also see what's happening and disapprove, it just is it's a place to start speaking up in a way that feels a little bit like, I can do this. I'm not the only one who feels the way I do.
This demonstration encouraged public discourse, and many attendees were able to reflect on their own experiences, including Barbara Sisson, who has been an Auburn resident for over 50 years.
I cannot sit back and watch human beings be shot and killed by their government, having people snatched off the streets, having children go hungry and old people go hungry, just for one man's food.
There were about 700 participants in today's No Kings protest, marking Indivisible Auburn Opelika's second largest organized protest in history. For Eagle Eye News, Auburn news leader, Ivor Dixons.
Thank you, Morgan. For more information about upcoming events and demonstrations, visit Indivisible Auburn Opelika's Instagram page.
Year one is almost in the books for the all-new College of Education building. Eagle Eye reporter Lucas Hazelrig has the story.
Opening doors to a brighter future. That's how Auburn University described their project to create an all-new building for the College of Education. This decision was made after residing in the Haley Center for over half a century. Today, the building is nearing the end of its first school year on campus. Right behind me is the new College of Education building that stands 3 stories high with 167,000 square feet of space. Inside, there's 33 learning rooms and 29 meeting and study spaces. If you ask current elementary education student Mackenzie Kellens what she thinks, she'll tell you it's quite the upgrade from what students like her are used to.
We have a lot more resources here, and just the way that things are organized, it's a lot easier to get to places. So like our Office of Advising and our Learning Resource Library, it's on the bottom floor and it's really easy to get to. So I feel like a lot of the time we really struggled in like finding those places and even knowing that they were available to us. We would have, a projector, and we would have like whiteboards available to us, where now we have multiple monitors in one classroom. We have like glass boards we can write on top of the boards. So it really helps make classes more interactive, which is always good for learning how to be a teacher.
So how long was the education department at the Haley Center? Since 1969. That was former Heisman Trophy winner Pat Sullivan's first year as the starting quarterback. Kellums explained how nice it is to see Auburn invest back into the program after so long with similar resources.
I mean, obviously we know as education majors that education is very important, so it's nice to see that Auburn values that as well.
According to their website, the mission of the College of Education is to build a better future for all. And after decades in the Haley Center, this new home gives students and faculty the space to put that mission into action. For Auburn's news leader, I'm Lucas Hazelrig.
Thanks, Lucas. Lots of things to be excited about. The future looks bright for teachers like Mackenzie.
Last Thursday, the Auburn Circle and UPC teamed up to host Open Mic Night for Auburn students to have a chance to show their talents. The The event took place last Thursday to great success. Open Mic Night gives a way for Auburn students to show off their creativity. The Circle Editor-in-Chief Dennison Justice gives us more.
So the Open Mic Night is one of the ways that the Circle tries to provide a platform for Auburn students to just use their voice, use their creativity. That's one of the things that we strive for at the Circle, is to just continue to provide a platform for students to express themselves. I think we're having a great night so far. I definitely foresee us continuing to partner with UPC to host this event in future semesters.
Auburn basketball has made the Final Four in the National Invitation Tournament and will play Illinois State on April 2nd in Indianapolis. That being said, the lack of the Auburn Tigers in the NCAA tournament had us thinking about how much interest Auburn students retained in the different contests.
I had the opportunity to ask Auburn students their opinions.
While some people spend hours researching stats, others build their bracket based off mascot. Either way, anything can happen in March. I took to the concourse to talk with students about their March Madness brackets.
Main bracket is not doing well.
Terribly. My champion got out in the first round.
It is doing okay. I had some great first round picks. I had the VCU upset.
When it's time to pick, I say I pick with my brain, I'll pick them and them, but, you got to have a dark horse every now and then.
Mostly vibes, a little bit of information, but also a lot of emotional attachment.
I usually go on and look at their past few scores and notable wins.
No research is done.
Pure off feelings.
Anything I've watched from the season, and then vibes.
Whatever player I like the most.
I also like to pick Purdue typically because the chicken fingers.
The team I am definitely regretting picking is Kansas because, like I said, I had them going to the chip.
Vanderbilt.
Yeah.
I had Vanderbilt in my finals.
I had
terrible pick.
I had Vanderbilt in my Final Four, and I had Texas Tech in my Final Four.
I regret picking Ohio State because I have way more attachment to TCU because they're purple and Ohio State is red.
Ooh, it would be changing from Iowa to Clemson, and then I had Clemson over Florida. I should have stuck with my gut.
And I don't even like peanut butter. Have you ever had a Buckeye before? I don't like them.
It goes Auburn athletics, college football playoffs, March Madness. Top 3 things I watch.
I say it's pretty big. I love to make brackets. I know nothing about sports, but I like to play bracket sports.
My Final Four is Duke, Arizona, Houston, and Michigan, and I have Arizona winning.
I had Michigan, Arizona, Houston, and Kansas.
Duke, Vandy, Duke to the Natty, and then I have Texas Tech, Arizona to the Natty, with Arizona taking it.
My Final Four are Duke, UNC, Purdue, and Michigan. And my champion was UNC.
I got Duke, Vandy, and then I have Arkansas, Virginia, and then I got Vandy, Arkansas, with Arkansas winning it all.
Whether your bracket is still standing or completely busted, you're not alone. For Eagle Eye TV, Auburn's news leader, I'm Allison Thomas.
When we come back, you'll get a weather update from Eagle Eye's Michael Brandis. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
This week, we are looking at warm weather and cloudy skies, as we can finally say we survived another winter. We emerged from our holes in the ground and as we emerge from our holes in the ground, expect highs of 80 and lows near 60 throughout the coming week. Clouds and rain will be a theme from Wednesday to Sunday, with mostly sunny break on Thursday. Sorry, our weather remote is not working very well. But anyway, this weekend will be mostly sunny with light breezes from 8 to 7 miles per hour. We predict intermittent showers extending from Saturday to Sunday. So keep track of the weather if you got plans outdoors. Temperatures remain medium to warm with highs near 80. That's all we have for this week's weather outlook from Eagle Eye News. Stick with us for when we come back. Jalen Walker has your political report for the evening. Have a fine week, and War Eagle.
Capitol Hill has been buzzing across this week. I'm Jalen Walker with Eye on the Hill to get you caught up. On Friday, both the House and the Senate passed competing bills to fund the Department of Homeland Security. The Senate unanimously passed a compromise bill aimed at funding all of DHS except ICE and some Customs and Border Patrol functions. Over in the House, on a largely party-line bill, they approved a measure to fund all of DHS for 60 days. Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has called the bill, quote, dead on arrival when the Senate comes back from recess. President Trump made these remarks on Air Force One yesterday on the bill.
Hard when the Senate passed the DHS funding bill.
It's a shame. They should really just go to a filibuster. They should terminate the filibuster. And they should vote. That's what I think. Look, I think the Senate is playing it too soft. The Republicans are wonderful people, but we're dealing with very sick individuals. The Democrats are sick. There's something wrong. They're like terrorists, and we have to protect our country. We have to protect our border.
On both sides of the aisle, calls are being made for changes to Senate leadership. On the Democrat side, Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer has come under fire since President Trump has returned to office. Democrats have said that he needs to fight the Trump administration more. And Senate Majority Leader John Thune has come under increased scrutiny for not pushing the Save America Act and other Trump policies. Trump has called Thune to, quote, be a leader, and Tennessee Representative John Rose has called on Schumer to be replaced. Turning to the Supreme Court, birthright citizenship will be in front of the High Court Wednesday in what proves to be a landmark decision. When President Trump came into office, he signed an executive order to exclude birthright citizenship in the United States for those who were born to unlawful parents or for those who with temporary work status. This is contrary to the 14th Amendment, which says that anyone born in the United States is a citizen. After multiple lawsuits and legal delays, the case will now reach the 6-3 conservative majority at the Supreme Court. Looking local, over the next few weeks, I'll be diving into some state and local races in anticipation for the state primaries on May 19th. Let's start with Attorney General. With incumbent Steve Marshall running for U.S. Senate, this race has plenty of challengers to take the role for Alabama's top legal official. Blount County District Attorney Pam Casey, current Chief Legal Counsel to Marshall, Catherine Robertson, and former Alabama Supreme Court Justice Jay Mitchell are running on the GOP side, while Jeff McLaughlin will be the Democratic nominee. For Agriculture Commissioner, Douglas Mayor Corey Hill and businesswoman Christina Warner McInnes are running to replace term-limited Rick Pate. The GOP winner will face former Ag Commissioner and Democrat Ron Sparks in the general election. That is all I have for this week with Eye on the Hill. When we come back, you'll get a national news update from Allison and Gavin at the desk. For Eye on the Hill, I'm Jalen Walker.
Back to Eagle Eye News at 6. On Sunday, Trump administration officials said TSA workers would receive paychecks in the next couple of days, under the president's plan to unilaterally fund the agency. This comes after President Trump's executive action Friday ordering TSA workers to be paid immediately. One former TSA administrator says the follow-through on this is critical. A spokesperson for the American Federation of Government Employees, which represents TSA officers, said Sunday that some officers had started seeing their back pay being processed for payment, but only the 2 full paychecks missed in March, not the rest of the partial payment from late February. As of Sunday night, the funds had not yet hit their bank accounts. By Monday morning, travelers were also benefiting as lines at many U.S. airports started to shore in.
A new report from the UN has found that the Earth's climate is severely out of balance and getting worse. Researchers looked at what happens to energy created from the sun and how much is absorbed by the Earth versus being reflected back into space. The study found that the burning of fossil fuels is trapping heat in the Earth's atmosphere, oceans, and land at increasing levels, causing an energy imbalance. Scientists liken the phenomenon to opening up the window of a heated room to allow air to escape. The Earth's climate isn't allowing heat to escape, which means the planet can't cool down. That's making oceans warmer and melting Arctic ice regions, disrupting ecosystems and causing sea levels to rise. Heat-trapping greenhouse gases have reached their highest level in about 800,000 years. The past 11 years have been the hottest ever on record.
Pope Leo celebrated Palm Sunday Mass for the first time as pontiff this morning. Thousands gathered in St. Peter's Square at the Vatican as the Pope led the Angel's Prayer. Palm Sunday marks the start of one of the busiest periods of the year for the Catholic Church and the Vatican. The Pope had a message to the faithful and world leaders. CNN's Christopher Lamb reports.
Well, Leo's first Palm Sunday since his election as Pope comes at a time of growing conflict in the Middle East. And during the Mass in St. Peter's, presided at by the Pope, he had a strong message to those leaders seeking to co-opt God to justify wars and conflicts. This is what he had to say.
Brothers and sisters, this is our God, Jesus, Prince of Peace, who rejects war, whom no one can use to justify war. He does not listen to the prayers of those who wage war, but rejects them, saying, "Even though you make many prayers, I will not listen. Your hands are full of blood."
Now, Leo didn't name any names, but his remarks do come after US Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has quoted scriptures to suggest that God is on the side of the US military intervention in Iran. Now, of course, Palm Sunday recalls Jesus's procession into Jerusalem. That took place at the Vatican today, but it couldn't happen in Jerusalem itself. The traditional Palm Sunday procession was cancelled, and the Catholic Church in Jerusalem saying that its leaders, including Cardinal Pizzaballa, were unable to enter the Church of the Holy Sepulchre in Jerusalem for the Palm Sunday Mass. They say they were stopped by Israeli police. Now, Leo made mention of the fact that Christians in the Middle East are unable to celebrate liturgies as they would normally do at this time of year. He appealed for reconciliation, peace, and dialogue. That is something that is likely to be repeated by the Pope as he celebrates this sacred week of the Church's year in the lead up to Easter. Christopher Lamb, CNN, London.
When we return, you'll get an entertainment update with Ava Bradbury. You're watching Eagle Eye News at 6. Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Ava Bradbury, here to update you on the top entertainment stories of the week. It was a big night for Taylor Swift at the iHeartRadio Music Awards on Thursday. Taylor Swift won 7 awards, including Artist of the Year, Pop Album, and Pop Song of the Year. The 7 wins brings her total number of iHeartRadio awards to 41. The awards ceremony was held at the Dolby Theater in Los Angeles. HBO has released a brand new 2-minute trailer for the upcoming series Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, and it has fans everywhere buzzing.
I told you. You are a normal boy. And you're going to start acting like one. You think you're something special? There is nothing special about you.
I've always wanted to know about my parents.
Your parents were the kindest, bravest people I ever met. They were funny and clever, and they stood up for what they believed was right. The next time I see you, we'll be in Hogwarts.
think we can expect great things from you. Let's see who you are.
Are you really Harry Potter?
The 8-episode series is set to be released on Christmas Day. Paul McCartney has released a new single called Days We Left Behind. Variety reports he also announced a new album, his first in 6 years, titled The Boys of Dungeon Lane, which will be released on May 29th. The outlet reports the album is a look back at the former Beatles' childhood in Liverpool, England. And that is all I have for you tonight. When we come back, you'll get a business and consumer update from Allison and Gavin. I'm Ava Bradbury, and you're watching Eagle Eye News at 6.
Welcome back to Eagle Eye News at 6. I'm Gavin Dimmitt. The Labor Department has unveiled a plan that could change your 401k investments. The proposed rule would give retirement fund participants the option of investing in private equity and other alternatives like crypto and commodities, those industries who have long sought to be part of lucrative workplace retirement plans. Although employers have always had the option to include such investments in their retirement funds, few have done so. Such investments are typically more complicated and expensive than publicly traded options and open employers up to potential litigation. Despite the new rule, you may not see changes anytime soon. Although the proposal makes it easier for employers to add alternative options, it does not require them to do so. President Trump has been a strong proponent of the change. Last August, he issued an executive order that sought to alleviate regulatory burdens and litigation risk on 401k plan sponsors.
The maker of popular GLP-1 drugs Zepbound and Mounjaro could soon be making and selling drugs discovered by AI. Eli Lilly announced it's partnering with InSilico for the oral drugs discovered by InSilico's artificial intelligence model, Pharma.ai. The model analyzes vast sets of data and stimulates molecular interactions in a fraction of the time used by traditional methods. The companies will also work together in research and development. Eli Lilly will pay InSilico $115 million upfront in the deal. However, according to an exchange filing, the deal is valued at as much as $2.75 billion.
President Donald Trump's threats to Iran's energy infrastructure sent oil prices spiking Monday, and fears of further escalation are hitting Americans harder at the gas pumps to start this week. Karen Caifa has the latest from Washington.
The White House Monday downplaying fears of further escalation after President Donald Trump's threat to, quote, take the oil in Iran and strikes against Israel by Iran-backed Houthi rebels. But fears of a longer conflict prompted another jump in global oil prices Monday. According to AAA, the average U.S. gas price edged up to $3.99 Monday, the highest since 2022. Federal Reserve Chairman Jerome Powell said it's still too soon for the central bank to gauge how the conflict, now in its 5th week, will impact the overall U.S. economy and inflation. Meanwhile, Matt Schultz, chief consumer finance analyst for LendingTree, says their research shows households are already taking steps to protect their budgets. Analysts at Macquarie Group said that Brent crude oil could climb as high as $200 per barrel if the war continues until the end of June. That would amount to a U.S. gasoline price of $7 per gallon. In Washington, I'm Karen Caifa.
That's all for tonight, but for more Auburn news, head over to our website, eliauburn.com, and check out our social media pages. I'm Allison Thomas.
And I'm Gavin Dimmitt. In production tonight are Johnny Koeninger, Morgan Sims, and Tessa Allen. Thank you for watching. Good night, Auburn. War Eagle.